Good afternoon, President.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome home.
I'm doing very well. My wife is writing like crazy here beside me to help me with my report. But before I start doing my report, I invited Minister Janai, who is the Minister of Youth, and of course Sport at the Federation, and he's going to talk a little bit about what's happening this weekend, and in fact about North American Indigenous game, where the Manitoba hockey teams, both female and male, are undefeated so far. So it's a proud day for all of us out here in the hockey world, and proud parents, grandparents, and everybody out there, and fans. And I was there screaming out there like crazy. So I'm going to pass them to give a quick report, and I'm going to do my business report right after that.
Okay, sounds good.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
This year we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the National Aboriginal Hockey Championships held in Winnipeg.
I know. Ooh.
The tournament started on May 8th with final games taking place today. The Manitoba Métis Federation supported 25 Red River Métis players utilizing our Believe program. Currently, Team Manitoba females are undefeated and will be playing for gold this evening at 7 p.m. Team Manitoba males won all their games and will be playing at 4 o'clock for gold as well.
Wow.
It has been amazing to watch our athletes reach these achievements. Congratulations to all the NAHC players. Their dedication, hard work, and courage will continue to inspire others to dream big. We have also supported our Red River Métis youth who will be traveling to Halifax for the North American Indigenous Games taking place in July. The North American Indigenous Games is an event that features 16 different sports while celebrating and building connections to Indigenous culture. NAG brings over 5,000 athletes, coaches, and team staff from 756 different nations. This year, the MMF has supported 130 Red River Métis athletes to take part in their sport of excellence to our Believe program. Our Believe program not only helps these athletes take part in such events, but also creates a foundation for them to grow in their athletic futures. Players that participated in the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship will often get drafted through the prospect drafts. In 2023, 3 of our Red River Métis athletes have been drafted. As the Minister of Sport and Youth, it brings me great joy to see our Red River Métis youth succeed to reach their goals. I look forward to watching Team Manitoba, female and male, play for gold today. Congratulations to both our Manitoba teams. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thanks, Minister Janai. And wow, go Team Manitoba. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And as you could tell, he's a written report and given to him by his staff. What he didn't have a chance to talk about is the youth camps that are coming up.
Right.
Just met with some of our construction team yesterday. They were down there already digging for water. It's one of the things they're trying to find. Of course, there's water everywhere underneath the ground, but they got to find it to start building our cabins. And they anticipate that they'll have everything by July. So they got a tight schedule, and they got to start working on building these cabins so we can get our youth out this fall. So he's working on that also as the minister and many other files. But I was very proud of our athletes out there. I could tell you that there's not a doubt there's superstars there that'll be graduating themselves into different fields. There's scouts out there. And I have lost my voice twice when I was out there. Lucky they didn't throw me out. So, of course, I get right into it when I'm there. And a lot of the elderly family members, grandparents that are there, they called me a great cheerleader. So they're just happy that they don't yell. So I was just screaming and yelling. And I actually made a little guy cry in front of me, and I had to apologize after because I was so angry yelling at the referee. And I guess I didn't notice that my other fans sitting beside us there, their son was staring at me, and he heard me yelling like crazy. He started crying. I had to be quiet and apologize like crazy. So, but because you never thought that I guess yelling taking place when they get right into the game. So, but it was again. They said no problem. That's because they were cheering themselves. But anyways, it's I wish them well today, and I hope they are both successful. Whether they win the gold or not, already they've reached the plateau where they show their skill. And for example, people would say, well, what kind of contributions the Métis Federation doing, for example, just in this weekend's game? Mm-hmm. Well, we donate over $100,000 there for this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And that's to help the athletes. Every athlete's got to pay so much. Yeah. And we also donated $50,000 to the North American Indigenous Game Council to pay for the offset of all the costs of having so many because it's free to enter,
right?
Free to walk in there. So anybody wants a chance to see the Manitoba play today at 4 o'clock for the boys and for the girls at 7 o'clock. So go and watch them. It's free, and go cheer on Manitoba. Now, let me get to some work here. Birthdays are coming up. Happy birthday going out to Douglas Beers, who is turning 40 today. That's, again, the son of Minister Mona Beers and Jared Beers. And he's happened to be the luckiest brother in the world, according to Desiree Gillespie, as his sister. So she's saying he's the luckiest guy because he's Imers and end up being his sister. Anyways, happy 63rd birthday is going out to Barb Lovely, April Urie's mom, who's celebrating. She's actually sitting the same table I am. Right now, I'm in Selkirk at the treaty consultation, packed house, full. I tell you so much. And actually, some people, Mona's reaching out to my wife and saying, she's looking at the crowd as they're listening to the video. They had tears running down their cheeks. So they're very touched by what they know what the struggle is. They know the hardship. They've been involved, fighting at the same level, the grassroots level, and to finally see the treaty become reality, change the future of the next generation, it touches their hearts. And it's such a proud day for us as leaders. We can't wait for June 3rd and 4th. Anybody listening, June 3rd and 4th, it's all happening in Assiniboine Downs or the regional satellites and those listening outside the traditional lands of Manitoba, which we have our citizens all throughout Western Canada, and including those that moved east. They're not from the east, they moved east. And Toronto, Ottawa working. There's going to be satellite offices out there that they can participate at the treaty vote that's taking place, and those that can go on virtual. So, again, it's very important to recognize that. So, happy 26th birthday is also going to Julie Mayor's granddaughter, Brooklyn Mayor. You know what? That's nearly every weekend. Julie's got some kind of granddaughter, a cousin or something. Anyways, we've got a hell of a big family. No wonder she never loses her elections. Anyways, happy 10th birthday is going out to Liam Ale. That's Margaret Carrington's great grandson. So happy birthday. Of course, Margaret is one of my heroes. Margaret's been involved with the local leadership for decades and decades and decades. She's one of our great leaders, and she's in the crowd here today participating. I'm so proud to see her there. She does, however, have some sad news. Her son is going through a challenge of cancer, and she doesn't believe that he may not be in this world too long, and that he'll be leaving this world to a new home. So our prayers, if you can send them out to the Carrington family and to Michael, who was in the hospital. He actually worked at our wood project. Some of the elders will know him. He was delivering wood along with our team, and however, cancer struck him, and it looks like he may be leaving to a new home. So I want to again extend my personal prayers, myself, my wife. We know Margaret very well and our family, and of course in the cabinet in the Métis Nation, one of our local leaders, and still here, still wanting to make a difference, still helping out in the cause of our treaty. While her son, she knows, is going to be parting this world to a new area. So, but by the way, we got some new local, Gimli's new local, and I was very proud to see the chairperson, Donna Askford, I think it's called, her last name. And all these new names are, not traditional Métis names, and are all new married names, Askford. So, yeah, and back her granddaughter, Skylar, I think she's 10. She wants my job. She says, I'm going to be the next president of the MMF.
Oh, love it.
She's walking in her room here like she owns the room, like there's hundreds of people here, and she's walking around like she's ready for a campaign. She's only 10 years old. So, and Asia is her mom, and she's very proud of her daughter. Now, one of the things I did heckle here this morning was that we're in Selkirk, Manitoba. Of course, this place really goes out the red carpet for us. I want to thank the mayor again, Larry, and his council, and of course all the staff in Selkirk City Council. When we have Métis Days here and Indigenous Days in Canada, they roll out the flags in every post, and they treat us like everybody should treat us in some form. The founders of Manitoba, the Métis Nation, of course, will still stand vigorously strong protecting the West, and they roll the red carpet here for us. So again, thank you, Larry, if you're listening, and thank you for respecting our Métis government, and we'll continue to come and bring, of course, support your business. In fact, we're building the groundwork is underway for a new apartment that's being built here, and there'll be offices, a pharmacy, and there'll be, I hope, a medical clinic that we're working on will be attached and ready for it. But construction, it's on its way. My wife hasn't even seen the picture. I told her, did you like that apartment look? I never saw it. She said, well, I don't know what else has been not listening to me at home. I don't think.
I've seen it. I love it.
Pictures.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, anyway, so, but it's a beautiful building. It's going to be a stunning building facing the river, and we're looking at building the same in Winnipeg. But going back to Selkirk, this is where the Dufferin gang comes from. There's 31 World War II veterans that actually left here to go fight in World War II. I believe 26 of them were Métis. And this is the largest, I think, concentration of any soldier group from a single neighborhood. So again, kudos to soccer, kudos to the Métis, and all veterans that went out to fight to defend people they did not know overseas in a country that did not even respect them. So, but they still went out because they were asked to fight and defend, and they did it proudly. So upcoming treaty meetings, as I said, this one's packed full. We're very, very proud of the work that's being done on the treaty consultation. I got to commend the staff and team and the lawyers, and Al Benoit was taking the lead on this one. All the work he's doing, and along with his team members. We're out to Vancouver. I leave Monday. I have a 4-day trek in Vancouver. I'm meeting with our ISET team out there. We're also meeting with treaty consultations, and then we're meeting with a book collector, archive collector. He's been collecting for 50 years now on Métis artifacts, a history of stuff that no school has ever taught or even actually probably saw, digging in the archives in this country. So we were able to purchase all of the hundreds of thousands of pages of documents and pictures, which people will get to see in our Archive Heritage Center, which is going to be part of the Heritage Center. You'll see an archival collection of a lot of the history never seen or spoken of or used in any school in this country. So we're very proud of that find, and so we'll go look at the finalization. They're getting ready to ship it to Manitoba as we start construction on our Heritage Center at Ports Portage in Maine. So don't forget, also, May 8th was National Indigenous Nurses Day. Thank you to all the Red River Métis healthcare, especially in nurses coming up. That's another field that we know are desperately hungry to get our own medical clinics, our own healthcare staff working directly with our team. I know Francis Chartrand, the minister, is working very hard at trying to make a difference on that file. And medical clinics are on our agenda, and we are going to be pushing that very strongly. And I actually met with the Minister of Immigration for Canada, and I had a very good meeting with him, and we discussed the opportunity for us to look at finding expertise throughout the world to bring back, because there's such a shortage here in Manitoba. We don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses, and there's no chance in time-wise that we can have them by tomorrow by going into universities and shopping, because they're not ready yet. It's going to take more time. It takes 7 years for a doctor, it takes up to 2 years for LPN, and then 4 years for RN. So we know that. So we're focused on trying to get our students in the medical field to hopefully graduate some doctors and they can come work for us. But at the same time, when I was in Jordan, I just came back from Jordan, Israel. That was some of the topic discussions we were having. There was possibility of bringing doctors from Jordan, for example, and coming to work for us in our villages and our community. So that's a matter we've raised with Canada, and we're looking at a possible opportunity where we can actually start a strategy on that. And I'm very proud of the ability for us to achieve that if we get fortunate. Also, don't forget May 9th is the anniversary of the beginning of the Battle of Batoche. And let's all remember Batoche is named after a nickname after one of our Red River citizens from Manitoba. And so Batoche was part of, and still is part of our Red River homeland. And so it's something very important to us. And in all of the, probably, we'll call them veterans, heroes that fought to protect our families and our community and our heritage and our identity, they all come from Manitoba. So originally from the Red River. And the Red River is not just a river that flows through a vein of water that flows through our province. Actually, when Riel used the phrase the Red River, he meant the Red River Valley, which is all of the Northwest. So that's part of our homeland, and that's what we find with Canada. Our self-government agreement makes it very clear there is no boundaries anymore holding us back, and our citizens can join as they are by thousands and thousands. So also want to get send out our prayers and best to each of the settlements that are under some terrible times right now in the Métis settlements in Alberta. They're facing water loss their homes. Even Amanda's daughter, who actually lives in Alberta, had to vacate her home. But there's many, many other situations where they lost houses and lost all their property and assets. So I'm probably going to be reaching out to the Métis settlements. The MMF government will try to do its part to help out and see how we can with our families, with our relatives. And I'll be reaching out to the chairperson, the president of the Métis settlement, and the vice president, Belinda Blind. So I will reach out to them, and we have a call being organized right now. And I want to see what we can do from our side here and help out as part of our Red River citizens living out in the settlements and help out the community as a whole. So they're one of the oldest settlements recognized by any government. They came in the 1930s, and so they're today run their own self-government. They're not part of the Métis Natural Alberta. They're standalone, and right now they're struggling to find ways to help their families. So we're going to jump in there to see what we can do. Also had a chance to meet with Justice Glenn Joyal and Justice Lori Merwald, and on behalf of our leader, Julie Chartrand, was the Minister of Justice. We spoke on what's called a track committee. I want to give kudos to Justice Joyal and the judges who are looking at finding ways to be more exploratory, of looking at different ways of how we can help out, working together to find ways in how do we address the issue of the high crime rate, high incarceration rate, high involvement of Métis people in the court systems and in jails and youth centers. So the courts are trying to help out in finding solutions. So we have Genevieve Benoit was appointed there. I believe there's other 4 First Nations that are also appointed to that committee. And but Genevieve will be representing the Métis voice of the Red River, making it very clear how we see that relationship and partnership building with them. So again, Justice Joyal, I thank you, if you're listening, I thank you for your wisdom as a King's Bench now to create conditions better and to understand how the court system can be a tool working with us instead of incarcerating our people and finding solutions to bring down crime and bring down what a lot of citizens are facing. Some of the key issues I raised with him that our citizens are raising with me now is they're very concerned that criminal activity is happening in their villages where elders are being attacked now and their medicines are being taken from them because of drug addictions that have happened because of different wherever social issues has caused it. Obviously, that's what we have to have solutions to tackle those social issues. Yeah. But in the meantime, safety is a big issue for our citizens. They're getting quite upset, and clearly there's a reason to be upset. People that break in their home, take all their Tylenol trees, which is their medication, and sometimes abuse them, and then they find out the next day they're out on bail again, and then they got a fear. So it's something that they are raising with us, and our minister has to deal with it. We'll raise that with I raised it already with the Minister of Justice in Manitoba. Yeah. We've got to find solutions. How do we make sure we work together to tackle the problem, both the social problem and the justice problem, but at the same time holding people accountable that you cannot abuse our elders. We'll never allow it. At the same time, we've got to find solutions. If you break the law, break and hurt people, you may not be coming out of the jail for a while. So as people need to understand, we've got to prevent our people from getting there and stop these gangs from infiltrating them or getting them drug addicted. We've got to figure out how do we keep our people proactive. And that's what Richard's working on as a Minister of Youth and Sports, putting a lot of energy on the youth, building these new camps, putting more money in sports and recreation. You see the major investments we're making. It's to make change. We see also the major investment we're making in education, getting our kids into school. We are now looking at contemplating our own school programs that we're going to develop. So that'll be coming up in a future discussions in our assemblies. The MMF is looking at a new way, not the traditional schools we have right now. If you look right now across Manitoba, you'll see that it's our kids. When the world is moving in IT, we all know it. Yep. It's a trend of the future. Everybody's going into that. We even electric cars now instead of fuel. So everybody's going into the IT world. And yet when you look to our school divisions, where is that a high emphasis of teaching? It's not there. Firstly, people probably don't even have the equipment nor the expertise to teach them. But that means when you look at rural Manitoba and you look outside of the cities, these young kids can't find jobs because there's no factories there that's going to replace all the traditional jobs we've lost. Our economy is squashed. We lost a lot of our traditional economies, which kept everybody employed. Now there's unemployment. But when you turn around, the families can't say, well, let's go get a job at the store or get a job at that little department office over there that's providing services when there's none. Even Duck Bay doesn't even have a store, for example. So you start asking yourself, how do you create jobs? Well, one way the world is teaching us is IT. That's the process where we can have opportunity. But the school divisions in our province are lacking in that vision, but we are not. We want to start talking about that, and that'll be the future of what we're looking for. So also don't forget that the province, this whole issue regarding our children listening right now that aged out, Mona Beers is the minister responsible for that, and she's taking the lead charge. There is a discussion on a settlement that might happen. As you know, we took the provincial government to court on the child allowance money that belongs to the children, and the province, of course, made us use it to operate our agencies, which is unbelievable. And so we took it to court along with First Nation agencies, and we won. So the province is actually, I had good discussions with Minister Squires, who was the Minister of Child and Family, along with myself and Mona, and at the end of the day, the province is willing to settle and work on this issue and give back that money to the children. So, but here we are caught off guard with a class action lawsuit that was being filed by a firm that never spoke to us, didn't talk to our agencies, didn't talk to our minister, but was going to represent us and then charge what they call a contingency fee, which means they're going to take a certain percentage of whatever that final outcome is. Yes, we're the ones who went to court. We're the ones who paid for the lawyers as MMF and to fight for our children.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, out comes this law firm that's going to represent them and then make a system where they're going to take a bunch of money and saying, I want to take this money because I'm representing you. Where the hell were you all these times that we were struggling on our own? So we got a position now. We got a new law firm out of Toronto. It's challenging this class action legal team and saying we're not going to let you take money from the children, not a penny. Are you stealing from the child allowance money? It belongs to the children. We'll get our lawyers. MMF will pay for those lawyers, and we're not taking 1 cent from the child allowance money. We've already made public statements on that issue, and we'll stand firm to protect those children. So we're working on that right now, and we look forward to getting that done. So again, I want to thank. I had a meeting with Myrna Treger. She's the Speaker of the House, and she was so proud. We give her a sash that she's now having on display at the Legislative Building. But what she was proud about also is the first, I think, what do they call that? Maize. Yeah, that's what they call maize. My wife is whispering in my ears here. So maize. Anyways, the maize was actually made of the Red River cart. The wheel. They took a part of the wheel and used it as its first maize back in the establishment of 1871 when the Legislative Assembly was formed. Of course, that's when the first premier, according to their history, was elected. But they're wrong. The first premier was Lou Riel, elected a year before in 1870. But at that time, they called him a president, and they changed the term to premier. So that won't be corrected until we get that done in this province, that this Legislative Assembly will recognize Riel as the first premier. So again, Happy Manitoba Day was on May 12th. Again, the Métis played a pivotal role in getting that done and making sure we're the only Indigenous people anywhere in this country that can say openly without challenge. It was the Métis who bought Western Canada into Confederation, bought the province of Manitoba into Confederation, and we're the only Indigenous people in this country to do so. So, again, on other matters, let's not forget, we need to continue to look at issues that are facing us from different streams. One of them, of course, is identity theft. And that's an issue that's really lingering. I spoke on it this morning with a full delegation of people from across the Interlake here this morning, and all of them are in the same wavelength as I am, that they take offense to these people that are stealing their identity. And, today they try to defend themselves against the First Nations example in Ontario. We support the First Nations Ontario's accusation that these are not Métis people. They're mixed bloods of the Algonquins, which the First Nations say. And actually the pictures they're using, some of the chiefs are saying that's our great-great-grandfather that you're using. He was First Nation. He was never Métis. So people in Ontario are struggling now to try to defend their lives, and they're putting out propaganda. And we're going to be responding to that very quickly. And I know a lot of chiefs in Ontario are very happy with our position that we are, and they recognize the Métis, truly the Métis rights holders of the Red River Métis in the prairies. And all of the laws have supported us on this issue. In fact, our first treaty was first. In 1870, our treaty, as referenced by John A. Macdonald, was being negotiated. The first treaty, treating with the half-breeds, was the first language used in Parliament. In 1871, Treaty 1 came. We came a year before. Now, I know AMC sent out a letter by the Grand Chief. We will respond to her later. I don't know if I should, but I will probably, just to correct her in the context of, don't disrespect us as we don't disrespect you. We respect your rights. We respect your history. We stood to protect your history in the 1800s. Never forget that. We were the strongest people in the prairies, the largest population, and we had a military. And so we worked in partnership with First Nations. We were our cousins, our neighbors, and we supported them against the East, who was coming in to invade and take away our lands and our rights. And now, unfortunately, 153 years later, we're seeing a position taken by AMC challenging whether we have rights. And I would be very careful if I was the Grand Chief of AFC, because we'll retaliate very quickly, I assure you that. But right now, I'm just being calm. My people know best, and a lot of chiefs know well. I have a lot of friends out there that are chiefs, and they all understand that Métis have rights. And some will tell you point blank, why in the hell would we fight with the Métis? We've got enough of our own battles. We have enough of our own issues with Canada. We've had enough of our struggles of trying to find employment, trying to develop programs and services in our villages and communities, while at the same time First Nations are even working with us to hire our people to work with them. And Métis are hiring First Nations to work with us. So why in the hell would I start a war with the Métis? And I think that's the message I'm sending out there, because if you do, we will fight back. You know the Métis. You know the Red River. We don't back away from no one. So again, at the end of the day, I look forward to and of course, I know Kathy personally well, and I'm sure, in my view, that's not her intentions. I hope it's not. I think it's just maybe sending a message. She does support Ontario, agreeing that Ontario is right, that those people in Ontario, the Métis Nation of Ontario, are wrong, and she's right, and I support her on that. I support Ontario on that. So we will stand up against those people in Ontario that claim to be Métis, but they're not Métis. They're not us. There's no connection in history. We're telling them, get your own heroes, get your own flags, get your own culture, get your own beadwork, get your own music. You know, do your own history, man. Don't steal ours and say you're us, because you're not. And we'll stand with Waboon and all the rest of those other First Nations against them, because their identity kept. And this is the sad part, though. Close off with this. It's not stealing one identity. They're trying to steal an entire nation. His identity.
Yeah.
So, it's quite shameful, if you ask me, that they can try to hide under just because they learn how to do some of our beadwork and look at our beadwork and copy it. Now they're wearing the vest and saying that makes me tea. Or else they're carrying our flag, which never flew in their homeland. Never flew in Ontario. It flew in the West. And it first flown by us in 1815, 1816. So that infinity flag is ours. But now they fly and say, this makes me Métis. That's not it. The music, they're trying to do the fiddle music. That doesn't make them Métis. That's our music. It belongs to Red River, Red River. All this belongs to the Red River. The Red River cart. You look at all the history. Where the hell does it say Ontario cart? Ontario music. It doesn't say anything. Find your own culture, you guys. Find your own heroes. Find your own history. But don't try to steal ours. And we'll stand side by side with the First Nations on Ontario on this issue. So again, take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys next Saturday. And I got to get back to the tree. I can hear all the ramblings around. Everybody's ready for lunch here. And it is a packed house, Naomi. Yeah. And I'm taking my wife to Shania Twain.
Are you? Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried. I told her, what if she sees me in a crowd? What if she looks at me with that way and our eyes connect? So my wife, I said, you better hang on to me tight, man, because Shania might be looking in the crowd and catch my eyes.
Oh, well, I think Glorian's got the upper hand on that one, and I think she'll take care of Shania, no problem. She's dealing with a Métis woman. You ain't woman enough to take my man, she'll be saying.
Yeah. Hey, that's her song. And by the way, just for history's sake, at one time, Shania was trying to say she was Métis, but she was smart enough to pull back, and knowing that, because she wasn't sure about her direct lineage, but she pulled away from it, which I really respect that.
Yeah.
Actually, I met her.
Her stepdad was Métis, right?
Pardon me?
I said her stepdad was Métis, right?
I don't know the history of it, because again, people in Ontario you have a misunderstanding. I mean, people in Ontario, some of them, they say mixed blood makes you Métis. It does not make you Métis.
Yeah, Carl just corrected me. He said he was Ojibwe, so okay.
Exactly. He was Ojibwe. Now I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and if he had mixed blood, he was not Métis, because he comes from Ontario. Right. Anyways, you take care, everybody. Thank you, Cowboy, for correcting Naomi. A little bit of history. And as I said, my wife is going to hang on to my hand tomorrow night, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love Shania's music. I actually do. So
we do too.
I'm taking her out for Mother's Day.
All right.
By the way, I almost forgot. Happy Mother's Day to every mom out there. As you know, Ray St. Germain, happy Mother's Day to our mamas that are above the sky now today and looking down on us. And again, to all mothers, yourself, Naomi, and everybody else, happy Mother's Day on behalf of my government, of course, my cabinet, and all the staff. We want to wish every mother a happy Mother's Day, because in our world, mamas are always the boss.
And your daughter, too, Sonia.
Oh, my daughter, too. Trust me, she'll be phoning me saying, where's my Mother's Day present? I always tell her, you're married now, for crying out loud. Get your old man to buy it. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
All right. Happy Mother's Day to Glorin. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.